What's good, my people? Welcome into Buckets, Action Network's daily NBA betting podcast. We're in the workshop Wednesday NBA slate, so you know who's with me. J Money is Money. AC, the analytics capper. We got a full house. I am your host, Sean Little. We are presented by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Go download the Action Network app. Everything is rolling right now. Hockey, basketball, NBA is closing up. We got the Final Four on the horizon here. Everything you need to know about everything is going to be in the Action Network app. Go subscribe to the Action Network YouTube page, youtube.com/Action Network. All of our beautiful faces are on there. All right, you know the deal. We give the play, we give the cap, we get you guys out of here. J Money is Money. Give me your best bet for the Wednesday NBA slate.
I'll take Lakers minus 12.5 as long as I get LeBron and AD in there.
AC, the analyst capper.
Yep, I got two. I like the Cavs Suns first half under 112 most likely. And then I'm on the Boston Celtics tomorrow night against the Thunder with a caveat, and we'll get into that later.
I don't have a caveat actually. I'm going to go Pelicans first half -2, full game -4 against the Orlando Magic. All right, J Money is Money. Fair caveat. You know what I'm saying? Need LeBron, need AD if I'm going to back the Lakers. Mainly AD. All right, tell me why mainly AD and why the Lakers here if the boys go.
Well, the Wizards don't have anybody down low. I know the Bucks couldn't really exploit that in their last game versus the Wizards, but I do think the Lakers will. I mean, Hachimura has been absolutely crazy. He used to play for the Wizards as well, so I'm sure he's going to have some extra motivation in this one. But it didn't matter. Jackson Hayes, Hachimura, anybody could go crazy in this game, man. You just got to feed the post, and that's where those guys are going to have most success. Marvin Bagley, who was their starting center, even went down with a knee injury tonight as well with the Wizards. So they don't really have anybody there down low. The Lakers are hot. They've won 7 of their last 8 games, covered 6 of those last 8 games as well. They're absolutely rolling right now. Like, they're mowing everybody down. They're actually on their way to playing themselves out of the 9-10 matchup. If they keep winning, they could actually get to that 8 seed where they could possibly only have to play one play-in game to get into the playoffs. And I'm sure that's what they're going for. The guys didn't really have to exert a lot of energy or play a ton of minutes tonight as well. So I do expect LeBron and AD in this one. We know how it is in the NBA. They're going to wait until probably like 10, 20 minutes before the game before we actually know if they're playing. But it is one that I need to know if they're in there. Mainly, I'll tell you straight up, if LeBron's out, I don't really worry that much. This one's mainly AD because AD could go for like a 40 and 15 type of game here. So Lakers are red hot right now. Wizards coming off a win as well. They're dropping bodies left and right. Even Jordan Poole had fell down and kind of got a little injured as well. So I like the Lakers in this one as long as I at least get AD, but would really love to get LeBron and AD here.
AC, any thoughts? The Wizards haven't been big down low all year long. Now people going down. They have one guy, 2 guys, I guess, that average over 8 rebounds. Bagley wasn't on their team all year, but he averages 8.3. Gafford, they don't have any bodies, and Gafford's not there anymore. Talk to me about this spot. I like it from J Money.
Yeah, I mean, the Wizards just beat the Bucks tonight. They were plus 650 on the money line and won outright. So it's a great fade spot against Washington. The only thing I'm worried about, and I'm always going to be with my guy Jay, the only thing I'm worried about is the Lakers' motivation. Like, are they trying to blow teams out? Because they are blowing teams out, but are they going to do it to a bad team like Washington, or do they just want to get the win? So we'll just see. Obviously, Lakers are superior in every way. They're more talented, they're deeper, they're bigger. And even if LeBron doesn't play, they have the wings to take care of Washington scorers. So everything right here points to the Lakers. I just don't know what their motivation is in terms of blowing out teams or blowing out the Wizards.
Yeah, Lakers got an easy W against Toronto, so they'll be on the back-to-back. But LeBron only played 29 minutes. AD only played 28 minutes in a relatively easy W for the Lakers. We'll see how the injury report shakes out. Today was one of the most ridiculous, and I know we talk about this shit all the time. Today was one of the most ridiculous injury reporting I've ever seen in the year. Joel Embiid was out. He went from being out to playing 30. Then we had SGA, Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams was ruled out early. SGA went out late. Kawhi. It was just all over the place. numbers were flipping 4 or 5 full points, 6 full points, back and forth all day. This time of the year is very difficult to tally with the injury report. Now, I'm going to say this. If you put somebody out on the injury report and they play, it should be a $200,000 team fine.
$2 million.
Dude, out to playing 30 minutes is unbelievable. Why not just put doubtful on there? Even doubtful is bad. Questionable. Out means out.
Out means out.
The definition of out means he's not playing. He can't show up to the building and run 30 minutes and have a big impact in a game. Can you imagine trying to handicap that spot with, SGA is out, a.k.a. trying to handicap that spot like being guys like us? I'm trying to do a show. I'm back and forth. My whole notes are all fucked up. I done crossed out, rewrote my whole page 3 times. Out to 30. Anyway. But yes, I had to go on a J Money is Money rant right there on that because,
NBA,
out to playing should be $500,000 on the sheet.
Never used to happen, Sean. I'll tell you this right now. 3 years ago, you never saw that. If a player was out, they were out. And I'm right there with that's the last thing I'll say about it. Like, how do you go from out? Like OUT, they always put it in capital letters as well. Out means you're out for the game. Like, you're not playing. He's not getting a jersey tonight. And to go from out to like Woj and these guys now, I don't know, man. That's the NBA we live in these days.
Yeah, that's the one that is extremely egregious. But to get back to the cap on this game, I agree with Jay wholeheartedly. Anthony Davis down low against the Wizards is a massive, massive issue for Washington. Now, the only thing is throughout the year, LA has fallen sleepy to these sleepy type spots where they're rolling and then it's up. It's another bummy squad on the schedule. We should be able to roll through those. But as Jay mentioned, that extra motivation to potentially go and get that 8 seed from the Kings is on the table. And they rather be in that spot, play the 1 game than have to play the 2, even though, the Warriors wouldn't be fun to play either way from anybody in that 9 and 10 range. So stay tuned there. I know on the standings, the Warriors are 2 games ahead of Houston. It's actually 3 full because they have the tiebreaker. So they got to be able to move up quite a bit. It looks like the Golden State Warriors are going to hang on to that spot. All right, AC, the analytics capper. Couple plays for the big dog. Talk to me about Celtics and then Cavs Suns first half.
Yeah, I'll start with Cavs Suns first. So Cavs Suns, this is to me a pretty simple read. Hopefully it comes out, but the Cavs are going to be on a second night of a back-to-back. Their defense has been struggling since the All-Star break, but I think without Donovan Mitchell, they need to realize they have to play slow, right? They have to play slow against Durant and Booker and those guys because they're just going to get eaten alive. So I think that first half look is better than the full game. And then when you look on the other side, the Suns are coming off a 5-game road trip. So you're thinking, oh, man, they're going back home. This should be an easy win. But that first half is usually when teams struggle, being back in that building for the first time. The shooting, angles are different. The sight lines are a little different. So I think they're going to struggle coming out of the gate. So I like that first half look a lot more than the full game. I guess any thoughts there, Sean, Jay?
Yeah, J Money, any thoughts on that first half play? Suns, tough team to spot sometimes. Hard to, how I put the Suns, J Money, in a pod earlier this week. They're a tough team to figure out, and they're a tough team to quit. They're a tough team to quit. It's like, nah, they going to figure it out, man. They going to get it done, man. Like, they'll do their thing. And Matt Moore laid out a really interesting point. I think he had retweeted someone that said if the Suns win out, they'll win 45 games, and that would have landed them 4th in the West last year. The West is just extremely loaded. Right. So they're a solid basketball team, but I just always feel like they're gonna click it on and roll. What do you think about this first half spot?
Yeah, it's a tough spot. I do expect Donovan Mitchell to be back in this game. He sat out in Utah, so he could probably be ready for this game. Like I don't, it was just injury management. So like they knew that they could win without him. So I do expect him to be back here. Suns are coming back home off a 5 game road trip. I'm not gonna lie, I don't look at the game from a total perspective. So I don't want to hate on AC's play. I hope he cashes that first half under. It's not something that I looked at. But as far as like a side perspective, if you do want the Cavs in this one, you probably want to take this one like overnight or as soon as you listen to this, like as soon as possible, because I definitely expect Donovan Mitchell to be playing in this game.
Yeah, I think the injury point with Donovan Mitchell is very well said, J Money. That's always an interesting. Speaking back to the injury report, injury maintenance is like, let me figure out when I want to come back. That's what that means to me. Injury maintenance. It's like I'm gonna maintain for one more game, and then I'll come back.
I still get my
One,
paycheck. I still
oh,
get my check. Oh, okay. Well, I can sit out
no,
then.
I'm gonna go ahead and maintenance. Come back for 3 for the game that I think is more important. And look, that's just what it is. But yeah, it's not a new injury. Nothing newly aggravated for Donovan Mitchell. It's still just a maintenance type of thing as he works his way fully back to 100. AC, talk to me.
Yeah, so I agree with you guys in terms of the like premise about what we're talking with the injury reports and injury maintenance and all that kind of stuff
Oh,
in
you
the
think it's
NBA.
lingering? You think he's still dealing with it?
No. I agree with you, and I think it completely changed because of COVID. Now it gives teams outs to do this kind of stuff. But to the player's defense, sometimes it's not even on the player to decide. It could be the medical staff, right? It could be, oh, this guy's played 34 minutes the last 3 games. We got to shut it down a little bit. So a lot of it is outside of the player's hands as well. But I agree with you. When a team says is out, that person should be out. If the team, it used to be like a threshold, right? Like doubtful is most likely out, questionable is 50-50, probable is most likely in, but all those thresholds now are different. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, no doubt. No, yeah, it changes as I will say this. That is a good point because sometimes it is essentially the team's final say. But of course, a lot of these superstars are going to have final say if they're playing or not. I literally think what happened today was with Joel is they were like, yeah, Joel, I ain't heard from Joel about his shit. He walked in and was like, yeah, I'm going. And they were like, all right. How about you play 25 minutes? Oh, it's a tight game. Oh, here's 30. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot on the player. It could be the team. It is it's manicured to a couple different specific situations. But that's overall what I think happened with Joel today. Was like, oh yeah, I'm going. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm gonna go. I'm good to go. And SGA and them is out. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm going.
Let's go and get this dub real
Let's go
quick.
ahead and get this done. All right, let's talk about Boston.
Yeah, so we were talking about SGA, we were talking about Jalen Williams. So I like Boston as a side here. They're at home, they watch the game all night. It's going to be a second night of a back to back for OKC. I think OKC's been a great team. They're one of the best cover teams we've had in a long time, but I think they played a little above their heads. They're now playing the big players now in the East, and I think Boston, who has been somewhat struggling in their like for their comparison, they're 8-2 in their last 10, but for them that's just okay. For most teams that's awesome, but I think they want to make a statement, and I think they want to show the best of the West that we are the best team in the NBA. So the caveat for me here is, if you think SGA and Jalen Williams sat out tonight to rest for tomorrow night, then wait and get Boston at a better number, because right now it's at 8.5. I still think they cover that. But if you could get 6.5, 5.5, 4.5, why not wait? So that's my caveat with that bet.
J Money, I know we know how you feel about not worrying about potentially who's on the floor. I do like that look from AC on, hey, potentially get a better number here on SGA and J Dub if they get ruled in. And I like them either way, so why not get the best number?
Yeah, they're definitely playing. Jalen, I can't say Williams. I mean, they're playing. I mean, SJ probably set out tonight's game so he could rest up his squad a little bit. This is a big game for them, obviously, to go up against the best team in the East over there with the Celtics. Jalen Brown's also likely going to be out as well, so you definitely could probably get like a 4.5, 5.5 here. My only problem is with the Celtics. Obviously, they're a better team, and I never feel comfortable going against the Celtics, but they do have the number one seed basically all locked up. So when you have that, you really don't have anything else to prove. Now they do have revenge, and it's crazy because the Thunder have actually beaten them 2 straight times. They beat them earlier this season as well in OKC. They've actually covered 6 straight games versus the Celtics. You see what I'm saying? So, but this is the Thunder will be playing. It's like this game is like I could really see it going either way. This will be the 7th game in 10 days for the Thunder, and with 5 of those games being on the road as well. You see what I'm saying? And it's back-to-back third game in 4 nights, so they could definitely run out of gas here in the fourth quarter. But also we've seen the Celtics just not really give a damn. That's why they're like choosing spots to rest their players because they know that they're really trying to make a championship run. And these games just don't really mean anything to them. They're not playing super hard. They're not trying to risk injury, and it makes sense as well. You have nothing else to prove. You're going to have the best record in the NBA, the best record in the East, the number one seed locked up. This is usually what you want to look towards in the last couple of weeks in the NBA. But like I say, with them having revenge and it really being an even worse spot for the Thunder, it's a game that I'm definitely staying off of. But I never feel comfortable going against the Celtics. Just the way that they shoot threes. I mean, guys like Derek White, when they get to hitting threes, like shit could get crazy, become a 20-point game at any point. But if you like the Celtics, you'll definitely get a better number right before game.
Yeah, Thunder moved to 1-4 straight up without SGA. No, 1-3 straight up, excuse me, without SGA on the floor. And coming into that game, they were 7-3 in their last 10. They moved to now 7-4 in their last 11 straight up. But against the spread, they now moved to 3-8. So they've been winning games straight up, but they haven't been covering the number. They've been a little overvalued during this stretch, dealing with SGA on and off the floor and being away from Oklahoma City. Stay tuned here. Boston, when they feel like it, that's the question with Boston. Do they feel like it? And if they do feel like it, look out. They will knock your block off. So hopefully they could come in there and bust OKC for AC to cash a ticket there. All right. I got a little personal revenge, and the Pelicans got some revenge versus the Orlando Magic here. I really like the spot. I'm going to take the New Orleans Pelicans -2 in the first half, and then I'm going to take them full game -4. Now, the Orlando Magic have played 8 straight games in Orlando and 10 of their last 11 in Orlando. This is going to be the first game on the road in almost, it's essentially 2 weeks, but only one game outside of Orlando since March 9th. That's how far they've gone back. They've been in Orlando, cozy, getting W's. Now, I had, if you go back last week on Buckets, March 20th, I took the Pelicans versus Orlando in Orlando, and a big part of my cap was they hadn't been playing any type of competition. If you went back and looked at Orlando's W's, it was against Detroit, it was against Charlotte, it was against Washington, it was against Utah, it was against Brooklyn, it was against Detroit again. So they weren't playing top level comp. Then the next team they played on the list was New Orleans, and they busted New Orleans too by 15 points. And I'm like, okay, like maybe it was just a bad cap. I don't know what happened. But then I was a game early. They then lost 3 in a row, lost to Sacramento, lost to Golden State, then lost to the Clippers. So with those 3 L's in a row, they bounced back and get a W against Memphis, a big W. But then they looked shaky on the closeout against Portland the other night. I didn't like that. They ended up holding on, winning 104-103. But now if you take on the flip side, the Pelicans have lost 2 in a row. They've been at home, though. They lost to Boston. They lost to Phoenix. Now off a full day's rest. So they'll be on equal rest with the Orlando Magic. They get them at home on a Wednesday at 8 p.m. I think this is a really good bounce-back spot and a revenge spot for the New Orleans Pelicans to bust the Orlando Magic. I think overall, I mean, you could throw the Pelicans in the bucket of tough teams to figure out sometimes here on a night-to-night, including the Sacramento Kings, including the Los Angeles Clippers. It's just Jekyll and Hyde some night to night. But I think with that recent revenge for those guys to get back right against them on equal rest, but they're at home. And Orlando leaves the nest, or leaves the home nest finally and has to go to New Orleans and play those guys after they busted them in Orlando. I think it's a good bounce back spot for the Pelicans. And I'm going to back one of the best spots in the NBA all year. In the first half, the New Orleans Pelicans are 46-26-2 ATS at home, 22-12-2 against the spread. They've been smoking people in the first half. It's been an ATM all year. I'm going to back them to come out and get rolling here in the first half. Both teams are struggling on a BI. They got to get him back, hopefully, here in the playoff run for the Pelicans. But I think they cash a ticket that they've been cashing all year in the first half in a revenge spot, in a bounce back spot. And they've been home cozy, waiting on Orlando to show up. And I'll move it all the way into the full game. I think this is the J trifecta spot where New Orleans takes care of business early and pushes it all the way through the game to cover the -4. J Money, any thoughts on the Pelicans in this spot versus Orlando, and overall just their outlook out there in the West?
Yeah, I can't talk you off. Yeah, the Pelicans are definitely an inconsistent team. You mentioned it is their fifth straight home game. They are in the bounce back spot. They let Book drop 52 points on them boys. He had 37 in the first half on their head, man. So the Magic don't really have anybody that's going to be able to shoot the ball and going to be able to dominate like that, in my opinion. The Magic are a really great team, really great defensive team as well, but they're definitely not the best offensive squad. And that game was the last game that you're talking about. That was a game that Brandon Ingram left that game with a knee injury. Usually when you see your best player leave with a knee injury, like, it's always in your head, like, damn, is our season over? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, this is really it, man. Obviously, if Ingram goes down, they're kind of cooked out there. So he's probably going to be out for this game and without Jose Alvarado as well. But it's definitely a bounce back spot. And the Magic are a great team, but I do notice a few holes with them. Obviously, you got to beat them with the math game. You got to shoot, you got to take more and make more threes in them, and that's their recipe. That's your recipe for success. And with them being like a slower team as well, it's going to be a little bit easier for the Pelicans can lock them boys up. So I like your first half and full game play there.
AC, any thoughts?
Yeah, I like New Orleans here as well. I actually like the full game a little bit more than the first half in this one, because usually I'm on the first half, but for some reason the full game speaks to me here, Sean. But I hope both of them hits for you. I think if it becomes a run and gun type of game, Orlando doesn't have the firepower to keep up. So if I was New Orleans, right, if I was Willie Green, I would tell them to get on the break and run, not only to get easy buckets, but also to not allow Orlando's defense to set up in the half court. So that's what my recipe is for New Orleans. Hopefully they do it. I was on New Orleans against that Suns game when Book went off. New Orleans actually had some life in that fourth quarter, but for some reason they couldn't stop them. So I think their defense is going to step up this game against Orlando as well.
Yeah, they just don't. Orlando doesn't have the firepower in a guy like Devin Booker to go crazy like that. And look, Zion, if you see Jalen Suggs, who's too little to bang with you in any way, shape, or form, do what you got to do and get to the rack. So we'll see what happens there in that matchup. AC, were you about to say something about Jalen Suggs?
No, I was gonna say I'm not a Zion fan, but it's crazy that he can still go to his left and dominate. Everybody in the NBA knows he's going to his left, and he still can do it. So I mean, props to him.
Yeah, man. When you that big and strong and physical, it's tough to do it. So, yeah, stay tuned on that matchup. All right, that's going to do it. To recap for the Wednesday Best Bets episode of Buckets, J Money is money. Lakers -12.5 if LeBron James and AD go more. So, Anthony Davis. AC's on the Celtics -8.5. Cavs, Suns first half under 112. I'm on the Pelicans first half -2, full game -4. We are presented by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Go download the Action Network app. Everything you need to know about everything is in that app. For AC, the analyst, Capper, Albert Wynn. For J Money is money. I am your host, Sean Little. We will see y'all tomorrow. Let's get buckets, baby.